Camillus used to be a really respected name in the knife industry, and they've pretty much sold out and have been producing low quality garbage for a long time. But I thought it might be interesting to take a look at this folder, the Regent lifetime warranty. Let's see, we've got 420 stainless. So Buck uses 420 and has good luck with it. But Buck does a good heat treat too. I'm not sure about this. Glass-filled nylon handle, 3 3/4 inch blade, quick launch bearing system with a liner lock. But what really got me wanting to take a look at this was this right here. What in the heck does this mean? Up to 3 times harder than untreated steel. Blades stay sharper longer. Sharper than what? Sharper than steel that's not heat treated? What genius in the marketing department thought that they could fool somebody 3 times harder than untreated? Look at that, untreated steel is so small. So now Camillus is comparing their heat treat, their blade, to steel that's not even heat treated. And they're going to hang their hat on that and say, yeah, oh yeah, our knives are sharper than untreated steel. What kind of crap is that? But let's take this out of the package and see what we got. I'm kind of curious how they are heat treating it, and I'm kind of thinking that maybe it'd be good to put this on the Rockwell tester and have a go and see what kind of hardness they're getting. Well, first thing, this is extremely light. It's a fairly large knife, but three and a half ounces. It's a flipper. Oh, it did come out pretty nice. We're looking at just south of 0.11. So it's less than 1/8 of an inch thick. It's just over 100 thou thick. Fairly thin blade. We have a deep hollow grind. I can definitely see burr on the edge. Why won't this thing focus anymore? The glass-filled nylon, there's mild texture to it. Just I don't know if that's a glass-filled nylon spacer or just plastic. Probably just plastic. Somewhat deep carry. Honestly, that's not a bad looking pocket clip. Look, they even recessed it. The screws and everything is it's all recessed. That's actually a pretty decent pocket clip. Decent spring tension. Plenty of space for on jeans. That might be the best part of the whole knife. So if you see, there's a lot of angles, and they have chamfered some of these areas. They do have it chamfered. But it's still not uncomfortable. Where they haven't chamfered is inside here. So when you squeeze this, these edges are all sharp. Let's take a look at that lock bar. Looks like a pretty skinny lock bar. You can see the detent ball sitting on it. So lock bar access is actually pretty good. You can see this is chamfered out and it's low enough where you can get to the lock bar very easily to start that unlocking. That's actually very comfortable and nice and easy to do. Kudos for that. So right there is where the detent ball, if you break the lock, it falls right there on the detent ball and doesn't want to go any further. So then you push it a little bit further. Now it's over the detent ball. After that, honestly, the action's pretty good on it. This is hilarious. Some of the things about this knife are pretty good. There's your stop pin. There's a good amount of side-to-side play on this. And there is up and down play as well. Can you see that? There is a little up and down play as well. Let's look at the grind. So it's kind of got a Tonto-ish grind on the edge with that secondary point. All the rest of these lines are just kind of buffed out and kind of mushy. Got a little bit of jimping here that's not really very functional. Camillus titanium. I don't know why they call it titanium. Another just marketing trick. Like, oh yeah, this blade is 3 times harder than untreated steel. God. So it's going to be funny. Let me get the sharpness tester. Watch this thing just be absolutely screaming sharp. That would be hilarious. Kind of hope it is, because we can get a good laugh about it. Somehow I don't think so. Well, we're going to keep track of it here on our pad. Camillus Regent. All right. Let's see what we get here. $321. So that is by far the worst I have tested. And most all these things that I've been testing, these are all budget knives. Some of these are fairly close to the same price as this. I guess they aren't all budget knives. That there's a few in there that are a little more expensive, but yeah, that's a pretty poor sharpness right there. If I'm gonna ever use this, I'm gonna quick run it on the work sharp. But I'm kind of curious what kind of heat treat this has. So I have this. This is an Ozark Trail. You know, this is like a $5 Walmart knife made in China. I use it as a beater. Just whatever the random stainless steel they chose to use in China on this one. This one actually specs out 420. So I think what we should do is run these two over to the Rockwell tester and see what we get. I'm very curious on that. Now you can see it's not centered either. It's more toward the clip side. Man, it opens nicely though. I gotta say, opening this, whoops, that would be tough to fail. They have the indent and everything. They have that figured out pretty well, and the bearings let that blade come right out. Huh. Let's go and take these to the Rockwell tester. Okay, let's see here. All right, Camillus Regent. I'm going to go right onto the flat of the blade. Probably right there. I know that to get it perfect, I probably should be taking the blade out of it, but I'm not gonna. I want to get a ballpark reading on the hardness of this thing. All right. Three times harder than untreated steel. Let's see here. Let's see what we wind up with. Let that settle in to a stop, and we have 54 Rockwell. Okay. So let's take one more reading. I'll just flip the blade over. What the heck? Make sure I'm on the flat. Sorry for the angle on the dial there. My tripod isn't quite big enough. I have this Rockwell tester sitting up on a big steel table because the thing's heavy as heck. Okay. It's just about come to a stop. It's still settling a little bit. All right, here we go. And we got 53 and a half. So we could definitely say it's 53 to 54 Rockwell, which is pretty doggone soft. That's ridiculous. That is ridiculous. So just for grins, let's run this Ozark Trail, this $5 Chinese knife in here. Just out of curiosity. This is just a no-name stainless. $5 at Walmart. Yeah, it's a shame. I hate to see brands like Camillus and, Gerber really went down a bad path like this too. And I still am dubious on a lot of the Gerber stuff, but they do have some things that are made in the United States, and they are making some decent things. So maybe Gerber's on the comeback. I hope, anyway. I'm pulling for them. Okay, let's see. 54 Rockwell. Amazing. All right. That's enough of that. So $5 Ozark Trail is the same hardness as the Camillus. Let's go back to the table. So where are we at with the Camillus Regent? Well, I think the blade is a soft, inferior. 420 can be decent. Not great, but it can be decent if it's given a good heat treat like Buck does. They get okay performance out of theirs. This at 54 Rockwell, and 54 is that's the high of the two readings. This isn't going to hold an edge very well. Now, being fairly thin, yeah, I'm sure I can get it to cut. I'm going to sharpen it up, and I'm going to keep it around the same reason I keep this $5 Walmart knife around as a beater, to open packages and to do things that I don't want to do with my more expensive knives. Even my budget knives that I have are better quality than this thing, and I would rather beat on this and then throw it in the trash rather than beat on one of my Sen cuts or something. It's not, if this was a $5 knife without a name on it, like this Ozark Trail, everybody knows what you're getting. When you buy a $5 Ozark Trail, you know what to expect and what you're getting. But it has a name that used to be respected, and it has titanium on it, and then 5 times harder. Maybe you really have to read that fine print. Who's going to read that necessarily? If you're just in Meyer and you want to get a gift for somebody, and maybe you're not a knife guy, and you say, "Oh, this is 3 times harder," or whatever, and you don't really read that, you're going to think that this blade, 420 stainless, 3 times harder. Yeah, I can definitely see how that would fool you, and maybe you would get this expecting more than you're getting. However, that being said, if you want to keep this in your pocket or a tackle box, that action is pretty good. That action is pretty good. Once you get this past that detent ball, it's a false shut. That isn't bad. The detent is tuned nicely to where it comes out. It's hard to fail. While the handle is definitely not the most ergonomic with these edges inside, and there's a little bit of movement, I can hit the back of the blade without getting past the lock. The lock is very accessible, and it works. I'm going to sharpen this up, and I'm probably going to use the heck out of this knife. And when it dulls, I'll sharpen it up again. I have that work sharp, and it will put an edge on this soft steel like nobody's business. So that's what you get with the Camillus Regent. You get a knife that has some surprisingly good features, like the action and like that pocket clip that I really like. But you're getting a soft steel that's no better than a $5 Ozark Trail. So just, if you do like this knife and you want this to throw into a tackle box or use as a beater knife on the job site, just know that you're going to be touching it up. You know, grab a ceramic rod or a small diamond card or something. Just touch it up after you use it. And when you break it, you break it. Who cares? All right. Thanks for watching, guys and gals. I appreciate it. And see you next time.